Good morning, students. Now let us see how this dose, which is going to act on the particular organism or the animal. What is this dose? How you are going to define this dose? The dose is defined as the quantity of a toxicant which is going to be administered to a body of an organism or received by the animal or the organism at one time or in given period of time. So you are going to administer some quantity of a toxicant to the organism or the animal, and the received organism which is showing the response is called the particular the received animal or the organism which is going to receive this particular toxicant at one time or at a given period of time. So this is referred as dose. So what do you mean by dosage? Dosage refers to the administration of the toxicant in the form of doses. In the form of doses, we are going to administer to the particular organism or the animal. So that refers to the dosage. So the science of toxicology, which is based mainly on the principle that where in a relationship between a toxic reaction, there is nothing but the once after the toxicant is entering the body of the organism, the response which is given by the organism, that is nothing but the relationship between a toxic reaction and the amount of the poison which has been received, that is nothing but the dose, the amount of the toxicant or the poison which has been received by the animal or the body of an organism, that is nothing but the particular relationship between the dose and the dosage, right? So there is one say that the right dose differentiates a poison from a remedy. The right dose differentiates between a poison and a remedy. So the amount is readily ascertained when the toxicant or the chemical substance which is given by a route, that is mainly by such as oral route or subcutaneous or even intraperitoneal. So these are the routes wherein the particular toxicant is going to enter into the body of the organism, or the body of the organism is being exposed to this particular routes. So this definition will not be applicable to exposure by inhalation, because the amount that is retained in the animal mainly depends on the concentration of the toxicant in the inhaled air as well as the duration of the exposure. That is nothing but contact reaction between a chemical and a biological system. The particular reaction which is going to happen in between a chemical and the biological system. So there comes next the selection of doses. How you are going to focus on this particular dose selection. So to observe the responses in acute lethality studies, we have come across one concentration should be aimed, causing the death of about 50% of the animals. That is nothing but 50% of the mortality rate which we are going to observe. At least two other concentrations which are being selected, one killing more than 50% but less than 90%, and the other is going to kill 10 to 50% of the animals. That is nothing but 50% of the mortality of the organism which we are going to observe, and the other will be the particular concentration which has been selected which is going to kill less than 90% of the organism. That is nothing but how that's how we have to select the particular dose. So in longer term studies, at least three concentrations should be selected. In long term studies, we have to select three concentrations. So the highest concentration is intended to cause some toxic effects, and the lowest concentration should have no apparent effects. So you should have the particular highest concentration, more toxic effects. That is to some level we have to notice the toxic effects, and at the lowest concentration there should be no apparent effects. At present, for long term toxicity studies of any toxicant, 8 or 10% concentration, that is nothing but the dose of LC50 for 96 hours is going to be selected. That is nothing but lethal concentration 50% mortality of the organism which we are going to observe should be selected for 96 hours lethality concentration. Coming for the next, that is nothing but the duration of exposure to the toxicant. So this plays a very important role in order to understand how this dose response relationship which is going to play a role. So this overall, based on the duration, the exposure of animals to toxicants may be divided into four categories: acute exposure or the short term exposure. It is nothing but the exposure of the animals to a chemical up to 96 hours. That is called acute exposure. Likewise, acute toxicity, what we have discussed in the last classes. Subacute exposure is the next one. So, the repeated exposure of the animals to the sublethal doses of toxicants for 1 month or less duration, which is going to be termed as subacute exposure. That is nothing but for 1 month or even lesser duration time, we are going to expose the animal for the sublethal doses of concentration of toxicant in a repeated way. So that gives you subacute exposure. Coming for the subchronic exposure, here the repeated exposure of the animals to the sublethal doses of the toxicants, that is repeating exposure of the animal to the particular toxicant for 1 to 3 months. So you are going to extend the time interval now. 1 to 3 months time is known as subchronic exposure. Coming for the last one, that is chronic or long term exposure. Here the repeated exposure of the animals to the particular sublethal doses of toxicant, which is going to happen for more than 3 months time, it is now going to be known as chronic exposure. So more than 3 months you are going to be exposing this particular toxicant to the organism repeatedly. So this gives you chronic exposure, or we can also call it as long term exposure of the toxicant. Coming for the types of human exposure. So if you come across these types of human exposures, so the humans are going to be exposed to these toxicants by any one of these following means, that is intentional exposure and occupational exposure, right? Oral, subcutaneous, intraperitoneal, intradermal, all this. So if you come across intentional exposure, so the people who are going to consume various drugs and food additives in their daily life, as we are observing in their daily life, what they are going to consume along with the food additives, there will be some addition of toxicant or the chemical to that particular food, right? That is called food additives. Sometimes these substances are taken over for long part of time. As an example, many people use alcohol and cigarettes on a long term basis, so which may lead to the chronic toxic effects, that is liver cirrhosis, right, resulting in damaging the liver, right? So that is nothing but the intentional exposure. So you are intentionally using this particular alcohol and the cigarettes. If you know that it is very injurious to your health, even then you are getting exposed to this alcohol and cigarettes continuously for longer term. So this way you are you are going to come across for this kinds of, like one example is such example which I have given you in case of intentional exposure. Coming for the occupational exposure, so humans on account of their occupations, so definitely based on their occupations level, so in where they are working, in which factory, in which they are using any chemicals, so of course they are going to be exposed to those wide variety of xenobiotic compounds, maybe that is foreign chemicals, foreign compounds. So occupational exposure to the toxic substances is mainly chronic and continuous. It is chronic and continuous. The routes of exposure, which are going to either maybe the inhalation or the skin contact, of course they are going to inhale continuously those foreign compounds or the toxic compounds. Skin contact will happen again and again, they will be touching those toxic chemicals while using. Of course, because of inhalation they will lead to the lung diseases, lung cancer, and dermatitis. Because of skin contacts they are going to end up with dermatitis, which is very common diseases among industrial workers. Sometimes acute exposure may also occur in the event of an accident such as an explosion, right? So if they are coming across in chemical reaction while they're carrying out in chemical labs, Of course, they can also come across with this kind of explosions, spillage and leakage, or because of the bad working practices. If they don't maintain the particular care, if they don't take, of course, they are going to end up in one or the other accidents in working places. Coming for the environmental exposure, a wide variety of the chemical substances in the liquid form either or in the gaseous state, which is going to reach the environment on account of the various anthropogenic activities. That is nothing but various human activities which has been taking place still now, and you might have observed during this lockdown period. So we are observing day to day there is so much pollution in the environment, of course, and we are also seeing that rivers and all, it is very, because of this pollutants or the chemicals, there is no particular what is that, water pollution we are not observing, right? Because of this 1 month lockdown period, you can come across in the daily day to day news or the information which you are getting. And this particular anthropogenic, see, you can see to this how much human activities will be going on, and even which is going to affect the health of the humans because of these activities. Such exposures which are going to be recognized as environmental exposures, as we all know, that is exposures to the environment. So the term of exposure which is usually chronic, this type of exposure may be usually chronic, but sometimes accidents at factories may lead to the acute exposures such as leakage of methyl isocyanate. One such example, very good example, leakage of methyl isocyanate, which we have observed by Union Carbide factory at the Bhopal, where we have seen the chronic exposure to this particular gases such as sulfur dioxide, nitrogen oxide, ammonia, and even carbon monoxide, which is going to occur in the industrial areas, which we have observed in the industrial areas. All these kinds of gases which has been exposed, and in the regions of the heavy traffic also, which you can come across in the regions of the heavy traffic, all these gases liberating, right? Sulfur dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen oxide, all these gases which is causing more environmental pollution, which further inhalation by the organisms or even the animals or even the human beings, which will show major effect on their particular organ level or the health level, right? So coming for the accidental poisoning, so mistakenly ingestion of these poison or toxic substances, cleaning fluids and other household products, while cleaning the fluids and other household products, drugs and even excessive doses of drugs causes accidental poisonings. See, for example, if the doctor has been instructed you to take 500 mg of Calpol one at a time, so if you are taking two doses at a time, like 100 500 mg twice, that is two times, two tablets at one time, right? That is 1000 mg. So of course such excessive doses of drugs which leads to accidental poisoning, right? Such type of exposure is normally acute rather than chronic, right? So coming for the next poisoning, that is intentional poisoning. So where you can see in this intentional poisoning or the which wherein we can come across the intentional consumption of the poisonous substances or intentionally doing poisoning, right? Intentionally you're getting poisoned, or intentional consumption of the poisonous substances for the suicidal purposes, which will come under this category of the exposure of the toxicants. So these are all the major types of human exposures which you can come across. So this, based on this, you can see very important assumptions in this particular dose response relationship. What are those important assumptions? There is almost always a dose below which no response occurs or it can be measured. So you cannot below a particular dose which you cannot observe any response by the organism, and that particular response cannot be measured, right? So once a maximum response is reached, any further increases in the dose will not result in any increased effect. So once you reach a maximum level of response, after that also any increase in the dose will not result in any further effect of that particular toxicant on the human being or the organism. These are the major two assumptions which you have to remember in order to understand the particular dose relationship data or the dose response curve. So this particular dose response relationship wherein you can come across the cause and the effect relationship between the chemical exposed in the organism and the illness which is caused because of this exposure. So allergic reactions, which are the specific kinds of changes in the immune system, they are not really toxic responses. Allergic versus toxic reactions, if you come across a toxic effect which results in the particular results of the toxic chemical acting on the cells, whereas allergic responses sorry, allergic responses which results of a chemical stimulating the body to release the particular natural chemicals which are in turn directly responsible for the effects which we are going to observe. So that is nothing but the allergic response and as well as toxic response, right? So toxic effect which is causing where the toxic chemical acting on the cells, but this allergic response is due to the chemical stimulating the body to release the natural chemical, which in turn directly involve in the which is mainly responsible for the effect which is going to be seen. So coming for the types of doses. So here the exposure dose is nothing but the amount of xenobiotic, that is the foreign compound encountered in the environment. Absorbed dose, the actual amount of the exposed dose that enters the body of the organism. Actual amount which we are going to measure, actual amount of the exposed dose that entering the body of the organism is nothing but absorbed dose. Administered dose is nothing but quantity administered usually orally or by injection. So you are going to have a right dose to administer the particular organism, so by the injection or through oral exposure. Coming for the total dose, that is nothing but sum of all the individual doses. So these are the types of doses which you can see to it. Coming for the units of doses. So here the unit which is used in toxicology to explain to refer this particular dose or to explain this dose, the units used in toxicology is the same as those used in the medicine. So the gram is the standard unit. Smaller quantity of the exposures are in milligrams. Example, the common adult dose of Tylenol. So this is nothing but 650 mg dose. A common dose measurement which can be measured in milligram per kg of a body weight. That is nothing but milligram of the substance which you are going to administer. That is the toxic substance or the toxic compound which you are going to administer to the body of the organism, weighing 1 kg of a body weight. So dosage unit will be expressed in the terms of milligram per kg per day, which includes exposure duration. This is the duration of exposure which we can observe. So that can be expressed in milligrams per kg per body weight of a particular organism or the human being and per day. So you can see in this slide about with respect to the units how you are going to express with the gram equivalents and experiment in the experimented form, how this is going to be expressed. So how you are going to express in the form of this particular expression. So kilogram, kg. So in gram equivalents you can see 1,000 g, that is 1000 grams, right? So which refers to in the expressed form you can write it here 10 to the power of 3, right? So likewise 1 gram, how you are going to express, you can make out 10 to the power of minus 3 for 0.001, that is nothing but milligram. Microgram, it is in the microgram it will be 10 to the power of minus 6 gram, that is 0.000001. like that nanogram, like that picogram, 10 to the power of minus 12, 10 to the power of minus 9 is 9 nanogram. Femtogram is nothing but 10 to the power of minus 15 gram. So these are the way of expressing this particular units to the with respect to the body weight of an organism, which includes exposure duration. So here in this slide you can see here I have expressed in the form of liquids and solids how you are going to take up the toxicant, that is milligram per liter, mg per liter, milligram per gram, mg per gram for solids. So mg per cubic meter for air inhalation exposure, ug mu g per ml, that is microgram per ml, parts per million, parts per billion also, parts per billion and parts per trillion also we can see. So coming for the fractionating the dose, how you are going to fractionate the particular dose. In fractionation form, you are going to inject the body of the organism. So it is going to decrease the risk of toxicity. If you fractionate the dose and if you administer, it will decrease the risk of toxicity which you can come across here. So the total dose will be harmful if received all at a once, of course. If you are taking suddenly, if the doctor has prescribed you 3 days dosage, right? So 3 days you take the tablets, for this is the course. So you have to take any, what is that, paracetamol for 3 days for your fever, right? So 500 mg for 3 days. So how many tablets? 6 tablets. 3 days means 2 in 1 day. So you are taking 6 tablets in 3 days. At a time, if you take all 6 tablets, what will happen? See, that's what. So you have to fractionate this particular dose and take in a proper time, proper period of time you are going to administer. So if you receive all at once, this is going to be harmful. Only when it is non-toxic, when you are going to administer over a period of time, right? For example, 30 mg of strychnine swallowed at once could be fatal to an adult, whereas 3 mg of strychnine swallowed each day for 10 days would not be fatal. Of course, if you are giving the particular concentration of the dose 3 mg per day, each day it is followed for 10 days. So it will not be resulting in a fatal condition, right? So that's what you are going to fractionate the dose and you have to administer the body of an organism or the human being. Then only you can see the proper response which is given by the organism. So coming for the last slide, so you are going to see here in this last slide about the substance and the non-toxic which are going to be our beneficial dose and toxic dose and the lethal dose. So alcohol, that is ethanol, blood levels. So if it is non-toxic or beneficial dose, it will be if it is reaching to 0.05%. If you are taking in 0.1%, it will be toxic dose. So if you are reaching for the 0.5%, it will be lethal dose. So carbon monoxide as such, in case of the hemoglobin, which is bound with that is a protein which is present in your blood. So if you come across this percentage of hemoglobin bound to this particular carbon monoxide level, so if it is less than 10%, it would be non-toxic or beneficial dose. If it is reaching to 20 to 30%, it would be toxic dose. It is considered as toxic dose. If it is reaching to greater than 60%, it will be considered as lethal dose. So much effect which you can observe in the effect which we can come across in the human being or the exposed organ. If you see this particular substance, so you can see here non-toxic if it is reaching 0.1 mg per deciliter, and it would be toxic if it is 0.7 mg per deciliter. It will be lethal dose greater than 1 mg per deciliter. So this is nothing but secobaratol, so which is causing baritol, which is causing more effect, right, in the lethal dose if it is greater than 1 mg per deciliter. If you are giving your aspirin, if it is reaching to 0.65 gram, right? So that is nothing but you are having 2 tablets. right? So it would be non-toxic. If you are taking more tablets, that is nothing but 30 tablets, right? So it will be toxic dose. If you are taking 105 tablets, 34 gram, it will be lethal dose, right? So you can also see ibuprofen. In case of this also, you can see 400 mg 2 tablets, it would be non-toxic. If it is taking 1400 mg, that is nothing but 7 tablets, it would be toxic dose. If you are taking 12,000 mg, that is 60 tablets at a time, it would be lethal dose, considered as a lethal dose. So that's why we have to fractionate the dose over a period of time, and it should be given in a particular course. So then it will not affect the body of the organism. We can see the response which is given by the organism in a specific period of time. Thank you. The next class, in the next PPT, we will see with respect to the how this dose which is going to see if you are taking two toxicant, so how it is going to show the response and the response curve with respect to those aspects, that is LD50 level, ED50 level, EC50, LC50, what are all those levels which we can see in the next PPT.